All right, we are here for another edition of Better Know a Bridger, and this afternoon we're doing a Better Know Some Bridgers. We've got Travis and Katrina Aho, and who are you, what do you do, and where do you see God at work in what you do? So Katrina, who are you, what do you do?
Well, I'm Katrina Aho, and I own Adventure Outdoor Paddle. So we do kayak, paddleboard rentals, and tours, and we get people out in nature and just get people outside to enjoy God's creation and beauty.
So where do you see God at work in what you do?
Oh, so many different places. I mean, not just like the beauty of the water. I also see him in just the amount of people that we get to interact with, a wide variety of people, and just him come alive in their eyes and through experiences that we're able to give our guests.
Awesome. And Travis, who are you, what do you do?
I am Katrina's husband, Travis Aho, and I work with the Forest Service. I'm a firefighter for the Forest Service. I help Katrina out a little bit here and there with her adventures. So yeah, I've been a firefighter for 18 years with the Forest Service. I go all around the country with different disasters, from earthquakes to wildfires to hurricanes, and help out folks where we can.
So where have you been recently?
I just got back this week from Texas. Yep, I was out there for a couple weeks on a helicopter.
So describe what being on a helicopter is like when you're fighting a fire. What's all involved?
Yep. So usually there's a manager, a pilot, and a couple crew members that are assigned to that piece of equipment, and it can vary from day to day, but you're going to set your schedule up. Usually you get up at 6:30 in the morning, get your equipment prepped up, get fire ready for the day, and you'll be there. If you're not assigned to a fire, you're ready to go, and in the helicopter in 5 minutes to go wherever it needs to go.
And are you dropping flame retardant stuff or water, or what are you doing on the helicopter?
Yeah, like I said, it varies from call to call, but typically in that Texas detail, you'd fly to the fire, whether it's 10 minutes to many fuel cycles. 2.5 hours is the fuel cycle, so it could be 2 fuel cycles to get there. And you get to the fire, you usually recon a fire, talk to the person on the ground that's in charge of the fire, and see what they want to do. You'd either land, hook up your bucket for the pilot, and he'll go to work on that fire, and any problems that he runs into, you'll try and correct that, and get your other resources in there that are supporting the helicopter, fuel truck, mechanic, and they'll be on site at that fire. It could be many hours behind. So basically you're setting up to be successful to stop that fire.
Awesome. And are you heading out to California anytime soon, do you think?
I'm putting together a crew of folks to go on an engine. We're actually transitioning out and relieving those guys out in Texas. And I'm pretty sure that engine in Texas will be headed to Idaho or California, wherever they end up staging us. So it completely changes and evolves. So.
But you're stationed out of the Ocala National Forest, is that right?
Yep.
And what's your general, like if there aren't fires around the country, what do you do there at the Ocala National Forest?
Well, right now we mow a lot of lawns because it's growing season in the summertime. But
does that help suppress fires?
No, we're just doing that for maintenance.
Oh.
But there's many other things that we do. There's burn plans that have to be written, prepping our forest for different boundaries of our compartments that we burn around. If we don't get lightning strikes,
Ocala's an active forest.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Ocala active meaning how? Like
with fire in general.
Oh,
yep.
Gotcha.
Lightning.
Yeah.
Yep. Florida's
Wildfires and prescribed burning.
Florida's a lightning capital, big time. So we're always on ready standby for anything that is going to happen there. Yep.
And how do you see God at work in what you do?
Yeah, I mean, we're in nature every day. So I mean, God and work. It's interesting when you bring a question like that. I see a lot of disaster. So you're there to support however you can. You know, you see a lot of people in very hard times, hurricanes, up against wildfires that they have to evacuate and move out. You see a lot of, a lot of folks that are just really at wit's end. So God at work can be a tough call sometimes, with situations that we're at. And I guess I just say that I'm just a soldier, and I'm a God-given soldier.
Yeah.
Do what I need to do during that situation.
So you see a lot of times maybe when you're wondering where God is in the midst of this disaster. Is that?
Yeah, I think of the folks that we're trying to help out, probably so. Yeah, they're probably praying for us to show up as quick as possible a lot of times, So.
And so if people have been praying for you to show up and you show up, are you in some respects an instrument of God's help then?
Sure.
Wow.
Yep. Get on
I
scene.
think so. Absolutely.
And go to work.
I imagine sometimes people have just been so relieved and thankful that you've just arrived, right? Before you've even done anything? Is that?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, most times when you tie into a landowner, if you're taking a wildfire situation in hand, extremely grateful. Just in Texas, we had a fire right in the community. We got there, and it was encroaching on several different houses. And there was one other helicopter on scene, so we ended up being an aerial observer for that other helicopter that was going to work. We asked him what he'd want us to do, and he said he'd rather have us as eyes in the sky to be able to coordinate with that other helicopter. And it's a good thing he did, because there was stuff that he couldn't see, and we probably saved a good portion of houses.
Wow.
Because it's just, you can't see through the brush, and folks that are on the ground just don't know what's going on until you're an aerial platform. So.
They're very appreciative. He's told me stories where he's been on the plane and the pilot goes, "Oh, we have so many firefighters on board," and everybody's done like a standing ovation for you guys on the plane before.
On airports.
Yeah.
Yep. Or little communities, they'll bake cookies for you. Get some brownies. Hopefully not special brownies.
And how does that feel? Like when you feel the gratitude from the people?
You feel like a soldier. You
Yeah.
feel like somebody that's doing a service.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Makes it worth it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Great. All right. Anything else about God at work and what you do, or what you've seen, or what you've experienced?
My awesome wife. I was a leukemia survivor in 2013. Major treatments in 2014, and anybody that's up against something like that, cancer, has really got everything is out of your hands. You're in God's hands. Every decision you make, it seems like you don't know what the outcome's going to be. And luckily, Katrina hung in there, and she was a great caretaker. And it was a long journey.
And how long have you been cancer-free?
So I've been in remission since the first year. Yep. So I'm 6 years out, and they say after 5 years you're completely cured.
So you're completely cured
from leukemia.
Wow.
Yep. You can get anything at any point.
Yeah.
But yep.
And
you saw God at work through that experience?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Every day.
Yep.
Every day.
Yeah. Some definitely transitional stuff. You'd see something. We have it in our bedroom. There was an aura of the sun on the day that I got my stem cell transplant, which was nothing I've ever seen before. But that was my new birth date. So I was.
Has a halo around it.
Yep. Yeah, and it was just out of the hospital window. We kind of just got out of bed and looked at that. I was like, wow, that's different. And that the new cells from a 29-year-old German were in my body. My bone marrow was completely hollowed out, and that was one of the first signs of possibly God. I mean, you don't know, but a different sign.
New beginnings.
Yep.
And Katrina, about being out in creation, in nature, how do you see God at work, just in the midst of His creation, or other ways?
Yeah, I see it like the beauty, the animals, getting to show people new experiences, getting them out of their comfort zones, maybe doing things that they haven't done before.
So seeing creation through other people's eyes.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think that's I have an appreciation for it, but it's nice to be able to experience it through somebody else as well.
All right.
And
Sometimes.
exposing the newer generations to some of that stuff is also really neat. You know, because there'll be families that come out with you, and you know, some kids are just so excited to go do different adventures that she puts on.
Awesome. And the name of your business?
Adventure Outdoor Paddle,
Awesome. All right.
where they say opposites attract. So he's fire, I'm water. I've always worked in the water, so.
And you guys are both pole vaulters.
So yeah, and we're pole vaulters. So
Back
I
in
don't
the day. I don't know, I've
know.
done it
That's
for a
our
while.
same common ground. But anyways, that's
Awesome.
us in a nutshell.
Great. Thank you. Cool.
Thank you.
So if you want to connect with these great bridgers when they're not fighting fires or on the water, join them at Bridges Church online or at the Y on Sunday mornings. You'll be glad you did. They're fabulous.